I know I'm going to get shot down in flames over the first one. It's Reader stabbings again. There's a 14-year-old lad got stabbed in London again tonight. I don't know if you're aware of that. I'm not in London. 14-year-old lad stabbed to death. And I've always been against the death penalty. Couple of reasons, really. I'm a bit of a softie, but also I think you've got to be 100% certain. There have been innocent people who've been executed, and obviously it's a bit too late then when it's done. But this is all getting out of hand now. I don't know what statistics nationally approve about the crime rate, whether it's got worse or better over the years, or just is it because it's being publicised more on Facebook and social media, etc. But there's no getting away from it. The crime rate in London now, the stabbings and that, it has got to be going up. And my biggest fear is now that it's going to spread across the country. And I don't, as I say, I've always been against the death penalty. But now I'm seriously thinking that it may be a time now to when they've caught someone and it's 100% certain, there's no mitigating circumstances, etc. It doesn't have to be murdering a pensioner or a child. A life is a life. And I know I'm not on my own to think about this. I'm starting to think now the other way and think it's time to bring back the death penalty. I know what your opinion's going to be, but go on.
My opinion is irrelevant. The question, you say in cases where it's 100% certain. Two questions arise from that. The first one is how, because unless the jury were there, they're relying on testimony. They're not witnesses, and they can't be witnesses, else they wouldn't be on the jury. So how do they see the certainty of it? And the other one is, what effect do you think it would have?
Okay. Yeah, you're right in the first one. The second one, I mean, I'm on about if someone admits it, they fully admit it.
People have admitted crimes they didn't commit. Stephen Kishko springs to mind.
Right, well, I don't remember that one.
Okay, well, Stephen Kishko was found guilty of murdering a young girl. I think her name was Leslie Moleseed, and she was murdered, there's no question, and he was found guilty of murdering her, and he pleaded guilty. And years later, it became absolutely clear that it was not even possible for him to have committed the murder because of certain physical difficulties that he would have had, and it could not have been him. It most definitely could not. And he was in jail for a very, very long time.
Yeah, and this is the problem. I do accept that. It is final. It's too late to turn it round once.
I'm not dealing whether it's too late. That goes without saying. What I was asking you was the 100%. How does a jury that wasn't there see that it's 100%? How? They weren't there.
All right. Well, how about? Is this just the jury you're on about, or how about if for argument's sake, someone was driving a car over London Bridge and there were police officers there, and there were 4 or 5 police officers who just happened to be there. It's a possibility that it's the capital, as you know. And he killed someone in the car, 2 or 3 people deliberately. Then surely those 4 or 5 witnesses who were there, who witnessed it, and the guy admitted it. Then, in circumstances like that,
my question isn't is that a lot of good evidence? My question is, how can the jury be 100% certain? I've heard these people tell me the story. I've heard him who is accused say it is true. How do I know? I wasn't there. It's the 100% that gets me. I'd grant you in that circumstance 99.999 would be easily believable, but 100? How do you get 100% of 12 people who were not there and are just being told stories?
All right, yeah, fair enough, yeah. Okay, can I move on to the second subject?
Yeah, by all means.
Which is the recent little exodus